So hi, so welcome back. I'm Ken. We're going to do another well-being film for ATTFE. So let's get straight into it. We're going to do about 18 minutes. So I want you to stand with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulders, but your feet are parallel to each other. So the same distance between the inside of the knees, inside of the heels, and inside of the toes. So soften your knees. So if you flex your legs out, if you extend your legs fully out here, the knees, inside of the knees will collapse in further than the toes and the heels. So soften your knees. Not too low, but not fully extended either. Imagine you have a long ponytail on the top of the head. Imagine this is tied up to the ceiling. So you have the feeling as if you're suspended from above. You're pushing the sacrum forwards. The sacrum is the part of the spine that makes up the pelvis. You're pushing the sacrum forwards to flatten the lower back, but feel like this whole area is hanging down from that suspension from above, hanging down plumb. And feel like you're sitting down as well. So where the top of the legs meet the buttocks, you have this groove, the gluteal sulcus. Feel as if you're sitting down onto a high stool, so tucking under and sitting down, and releasing and relaxing your legs like you would if you were sitting down. So releasing and relaxing, so you feel the weight of the body compressing the legs against the ground. Nice and upright, extended, nice and upright. Now imagine you have a ball in your belly, a fist-sized ball. Fist-sized ball about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of the body, closer to the spine than to the front of the body. And I want you to feel as if you're tensing or clenching that fist-sized ball, and I just want you to use it to start to turn the waist from side to side and start to swing your arms. Swinging your arms. So in the last couple of films, I went into a lot of detail of the waist turning exercises. So I'm not going to do them in this film, so if you do want to do them, just go back and watch the other films. Just turning, moving from your center. So it's like turning, it's like rotation of that ball in the belly and your waist. You don't have a ball in your belly. In Tai Chi, I am a Tai Chi teacher. In Tai Chi, we call this area the Dantian, and it is an area, it's an energy center in traditional Chinese medicine. The Dantian, the field of the elixir, but it is an area, your center of gravity, and you want to try and get the movement of the body coming from your center. And this engages the whole body, so the whole body is moving together as a complete coordinated unit. Nice and upright. We're going to be working on extension and flexation today. We're going to be working on the transverse plane, these different planes of movement. Transverse plane is the rotating, extension, so you are extending all the way up the back of the body, up to the top of the head. Nice and upright. And we're working on extension and flexion, moving through the sagittal plane. I'm not going to be really working on the frontal plane too much today. Working on the sagittal plane and the transverse plane. And I will talk more about this as we go through the session. But just swinging it. You have the arches in the soles of the feet. The natural arches in the soles of the feet. We are, as a species of animals, we are the human animal, and we are classed as plantigrades. The way that we move around, we plant our feet on the ground, we roll from heel to toe. There's a few other plantigrades. Bears, they're plantigrades that walk around. Hedgehogs, a humble hedgehog is a plantigrade as well. But most animals, like quadrupeds, they walk around on 4 legs. They are what they call digigrades. They walk around on their digits, on their toes. And we do that when we're walking as well. We pump off the toes, but we are plantigrades. So you really use the pump from the arch of the foot. The weight drops down through the arch of the foot. That arch, it extends, it flattens, and then it flexes back. And you get that pump there. And you're really utilizing that pump to keep you in motion here, like we do when we're walking around. So drop the weight down through the center of the foot and pump. And put this into both arms in front of you at the same time, both arms behind you at the same time. Make sure you're not doing this with the hips and the pelvic area. Pelvic area is hanging down plumb from that suspension from above. You're just bouncing up and down, dropping down through the arches in the feet. You have this flex as the connective tissue lengthens against the joints as they bend. It lengthens, it flexes, and you feel the energy contained within that lengthening. We have the myofascia. I work a lot with the myofascia. The anatomy trains the sinew inside the body and the elastic potential of that white connective tissue inside the body. So feel it lengthening against the bones, against the joints, against the body, and then feel the elastic recoil and use that as if you're going to have the feeling as if you're going to jump here, as if you can jump off the ground. Our nervous system doesn't know the difference between imaginary and real. So if you do imagine you're going to do something, your nervous system, your central nervous system wants to make sure your body is protected. You're not going to damage it, so it'll put the body into the right configuration to perform that jump and the subsequent landing. So imagine you're going to jump here. Going to jump. And take your arms out to the sides of the body. Out to the sides of the body. Out to the sides. Okay, so we are bipedal. We are upright apes. We are an ape, aren't we? A great ape. Homo sapien. And we are upright, and we're nearly at the full extent of our extension upright. Yeah. And think about other animals, like quadrupeds who walk around on all fours. They are quite flexed in their body. They walk around in a flexed position. We walk around in an extended position. We don't have much extension beyond this, so we're nearly at the full range of our extension. We're in for a penny, in for a pound. We're nice and upright. So let's make sure that we are being efficient in our standing. We think about other animals, like we talk about plantigrades. The bear walks around on a plantigrade, and they can walk on 2 legs, but it's a muscular activity there. They have to expend a lot of muscular effort to walk around on 2 legs. We use the sinuous strength of the body rather than just pure muscles. Of course, you can't stand without muscles. You can't stabilize the joint without muscles. But we want to, if we excessively tense our muscles, then we can't really feel the elastic recoil of the stuff that surrounds the muscles. That elastic myofascia. And that's really of interest to a Tai Chi practitioner. So from here, each time your arms go up to shoulder height, I want you to go up a notch. So extending up, going up, going up, going up. Going up until you can't go any further unless you just lock the body out, and we don't want to do that. We don't like extremes in Tai Chi. So when you can't go any higher, each time your arms are going down to groin height, I want you to go down a notch. Going down a notch. Keep your knees and on the toes. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Keep nice and upright. Make sure you're not sticking your bum out. You get to a point where you can't go any further unless you're to break your structure. We don't want to do that. So then you can't go any further. Each time your arms are going up to shoulder height, go up with the momentum. Going up. Going up. Again, until you can't go any further without locking the body out. We don't want to do that. You're fully extended here without locking the body out. Then go down. Going down into flex. So the upper body stays upright in flexion, but the lower part of the body is flexing, bending. Feel the connective tissue lengthen against those bent joints. Feel the arches in the soles of feet flattening, and then taking their shape back, and then going up, 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 up. Then get to your optimal height. Not too extended, not too sunk. Really feel the elasticity of the body. Put your mind into that ball in the belly, that area about 3 fingers below the belly button, and in the center of the body, slight tensing. Turn it from side to side. Flick one arm in front of you, one arm behind you. One arm in front of you, one arm behind you. Up and down. Make sure you're not twisting your knees here. So we're going into this. We're on the transverse plane here, this rotational movement here. Turning, turning, turning. I'm doing it like this for the moment. So as I sit down into a supporting leg, this area is more open than closed, the inguinal crease or the inguinal groove. You can do it the other way, when this area is more closed than open. You should have the freedom to decide when the elasticity from these areas that they call the qua in Tai Chi, when that elasticity from the length in the connective tissue, you decide when it is released. It's not dictated by localized tensions you hold onto in these areas. You decide when it's released. And it's this rotational force. We should, as humans, Homo sapiens, modern humans, we put a lot of rotational force into our movement when we're walking around, we're moving. We have a lot of rotation in the body. And it should be a whole body rotation. But if we are in our uniqueness, we are unique in the way that we move, we pick up injuries through our life, localized injuries, some of them permanent, some of them just temporal, and we make adjustments to take the strain off those areas. There's lots of different ways of configuring the body to do the same task, and not all those configurations are healthy in the long run for the body. So you have to make sure that when we reconfigure our body, if we do have to take the pressure off some areas, that we're not inadvertently, is that the right word, straining another area. Putting little bits of pressure on it that will mount up over time, and you'll get a serious problem in those areas. The knees are one of these areas that, if you have an ankle or a hip problem, the knees, you might put extra compensation into the knees, and they're not meant to rotate. They're not really meant to. We have the potential of rotation in the knees, but we don't want to get into the habit of rotating them. So make sure you're not twisting your knees here. The knees stay in line with your toes. Feel the compensation being distributed through the rest of the body. Whole body activity here. Whole body engagement. Okay, and then just let this settle down on its own. Okay. So, you're standing with your feet about the same distance as your hips and your shoulders, but your feet are parallel to each other. I want you to drop the weight of your body onto, you can mirror me here, okay? I know we've got a side view here, but mirror me here, okay? So drop the weight of the body down, mirror me from this straightforward view here. Drop the weight of the body down onto your, what are we doing? Drop the weight of the body down onto your left leg. Turn your waist to your left to turn the right toes in. So just feel It's rotational force of the leg following the movement of the waist. So it's not an isolated hip movement here, you're just turning the waist. Feel that whole body connected, pulling that foot around. So the toes are pointing towards the big toe of the other foot. Drop the weight back onto your right leg. Turn the weight to the body, turn the waist to your left, to turn the left toes out. Push across, plant the foot down, so roll into the foot. And we're just going forwards and backwards here. Forwards and backwards. So as you go forwards, make sure that your knee stays in line with the toes. So even though we're moving on the sagittal plane. The sagittal plane. Come from the same genus, the word, as Sagittarius, the archer from astrology. The archer. And we know when an arrow flies, it doesn't just go straight, it zigzags. If you ever watch it in slow motion on a film, it zigzags through the air. And it's the same with our body. We're moving on this sagittal plane forward and backwards, but we have lots of rotation in the body. We have rotations of the thigh bones, the femur, and the tibia, the fibia. We have a rocking from the heel towards the toes and then from the toes towards the heels. And we have a rocking from side to side as well. Very it's barely noticeable, but it's important that the foot does rock from side to side as we walk. This triggers those rotations up through the body. And so when we do walk around, we do have a lot of rotation. When we move around, we have a lot of rotation up through the body. This rotation is dissipated up through the body so it doesn't send our head all over the place. So we can keep our vision straight. As you're moving forwards, knee goes forwards in line with the toes, no further forward than the toes. Your sacrum is tucked under, the tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the center of the calf muscle. You're not leaning here, you're not inclining, you're not extending and flexing here, you're keeping nice and upright. So imagine the pelvic area, the pelvic bowl, as it's often called, is like a bowl of water full to the very brim. You don't want to spill any of that water out of that bowl. Forwards and backwards, keeping nice and upright. You can imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on the top of the head. You don't want to spill that water out of it. You're rolling into the foot, rocking from inside to outside. And as the foot becomes more weight-bearing, the arch in the sole of the foot, it flexes. Oh no, it doesn't flex. It extends, it lengthens out. And then it flexes back to take its arch back. And there's a pump in that. And you're really using that pump. You have a bit of a flex of your toes when you go up into the foot as well. As the foot flexes here as you go forwards here. So it goes into dorsiflexion upright. Then as you go backward, it kind of extends a little bit here. So feel the lengthening of the connective tissue around the ankle here. And use that lengthening of the connective tissue its elastic recoil to move you forwards and backwards. And sit back to the rear leg, drop the weight of the body down through the very centre of the foot, make sure you're not gripping the floor with the toes. Moving from your centre, extend up and pull that foot towards you. Then sink down, so flex, and push the foot away from you, touch the heel down. Extend, flex. And the leg, the front leg, this unsupporting leg, is following the movement of the rest of the body, this extension and this flexion. So it's not lots of isolated movements from the hip, the knee and the ankle. It's just following. Up and down. Up and down. You should really feel this in the thigh, in the calf muscle. You shouldn't feel it in the knee. You're bypassing the knee. Okay. Change. So drop the weight. So again, mirror me here. Drop the weight of the body onto your right leg. Turn the waist to your right. Turn the left toes into the left toe. Left big toe points towards the right big toe. Sit back to the left foot. Turn the waist to turn the right foot out. Push across. Roll into the foot. Plant down and just moving forwards and backwards. Forward and backwards. So feel that rocking from heel to toe in both feet, from inside to outside. You feel that kind of as if you were walking here, you'd peel that foot off the floor, so you'd get that flexion of the toes there, that pump there, and then you'd use that pump and the pump release of pump from the arch of the foot to swing the foot forwards when you're walking. So you use the elastic recoil of the body when you're walking. So again, when we're upright, it's not just a muscular activity. We should really work with the myofascia, the sinew, the biotensegrity of the body. I've talked about biotensegrity. In emergent science, been around. The science of it has been around for about 25 years, and it's the science of it is making its way into lots of movement therapies, into activity, into martial arts, into therapies for like the massage, things like that. It's really interesting stuff. Forwards and backwards. Make sure the front left knee or the front knee is going in line with the toes, no further forward than the toes. Sacrum's tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the center of calf muscle. Pelvic bowl, nice and level, so you imagine it's like a bowl of fruit piled high, and you don't want to spill any of that fruit out this area here. Just moving forwards and backwards, so you're not leaning. The weight of the body is just draining straight down through itself. The atmospheric pressure weighing straight down onto you. Moving forwards and backwards on this sagittal plane. And then sit back, drop the weight of the body down to the very centre of the foot through the arch, flatten it, and pull the foot forwards. Extend the body up, and push away from you. Up. And again, this is not just a localised movement of the front leg here, not from the hip, the knee, and the ankle there. The leg is just following the movement of the rest of the body. So you're extending and flexing. Feel the connective tissue flexing against the bones. Up and down, up and down. Rubbing the sole of the foot across the floor. You're not putting any weight on that front foot. You're not putting any weight on that front foot. You just have the weight of the leg there. Holding the leg against the ground, or the foot against the ground. Okay. Feet hip distance, shoulder width apart. So that was the sagittal plane, forwards and backwards like an arrow flying, or the rotation in the body. Now we're going to do we're going to move on the sagittal plane, and we're going to go into full extension and flexion. Watch your lower back here. You're not putting pressure onto the lower back here. So really engaging your center, or the largest muscle group, your deep center here, not just the abdominis and spina erector muscles there. Your deep center, often called the core, but it's a bit of an outdated term here. So I want you to bring your hands in towards your chest. Keep your feet flat on the floor. What you're going to do here, you're going to bring the hands down like this, tensing your center like you're holding a bit of flatulence. Breathing in, extend, take your arms behind you, and breathing out, flex forwards here, flex forwards here. Breathing in, nice deep abdominal breaths, extending your arms and your body here, and then flexing forwards here. So feel the energy contained as you lengthen all the connective tissue up the front of the body, down your arms, and you feel it elastic recoil back. Breathing in, and breathing out. And bring the hands in, hands onto the thighs, and we're going down. Going down, 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 down. Keep feet flat on the floor, so you're flexing forwards here. Flexing forwards, still tensing at your centre to protect your lower back, and then just flex even further. Just take the hands in between the legs. Feel that flex there. So make sure you're going straight forwards, you're not going left or right for the moment. Straight forwards here. Feel that flexion moving from your centre, feet flat on the floor. Feel the pump of the arches and soles of the feet. And then stop, and then just turn side to side. Let your arms wrap around your thighs. Wrapping around your legs. Wrapping around. Wrapping around. Turning, turning, turning. Then make your hands into hollow fists. Punch towards the ground. Really shaking out the shoulders. Shaking out the shoulders and the neck. And sit down into the heels. Breathing in. Bring yourself up. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Rub your hands, rub the belly, rub the lower back, rub the lower back. Rub any areas that might be a little bit, that you've worked on there. I don't want to say sore or aching. So areas you're working on. And that's our session. That's the wellbeing session for this week. So give it a practice, watch the film again, give it a practice, and I'll be back for some more next week. So I'll say bye for